We're really happy to be able to have this panel today, though. So this is co-hosted by the Institute for Sustainability and the CSUN Career Center. So this event is Careers in Sustainability. Hopefully you're in the right place. One good thing about Zoom is we're able to bring all these great people together from all over the LA area and host this event and have you all be able to participate today. So we're really excited. We really appreciate everybody for joining. We also appreciate our panelists' time who've graciously been here today during their work time to share their experiences. My name is Sarah Johnson. I am the Sustainability Program Analyst with the Institute for Sustainability here at CSUN. I want to introduce the other co-host and moderator for today, which is Patricia Gaynor. And Patricia, do you want to introduce yourself really quick?
I'm Patricia Gaynor. I'm the Assistant Director of the Career Center, Assistant Director of Maddie's Closet. Welcome, everyone. Okay.
So yeah, as you will see, this panel is made up of a really diverse group of individuals. They're all from different academic programs and career fields, which, as you may or may not know, I really feel is the beauty inherent in sustainability. It's not something that's really separate from everything else, but it is and should be integral to everything that we do, now and in the future. So the field of sustainability has definitely grown a lot, but as you'll hear, the path to getting into these positions definitely varies greatly, and it's not always a clear path. And I wanted to just quickly share my experience into getting in this field and why I'm so excited to have all of these guests here, because you'll see that no matter what your strengths are and what your interests are, sustainability can fit into your career. And so like, even for me, I was always interested in animals and nature and even the environment, but never even thought of it as a career path. And so when I went to college, I was always interested in human behavior. So I majored in psychology. I actually attended Cal State Long Beach. So that's the alma mater of one of our other panelists as well. And while I was at Cal State Long Beach, I served as a peer mentor, which I absolutely loved it. I loved advising. And so I decided to pursue a master's degree in college counseling and student services here at CSUN. And as I said, I was always interested in the environment, but more documentaries and things started coming out during that time. It was in 2007, 2008. And so just started learning more about our food systems and the planet and pollution and climate change. And it became more of a passion of mine. And then I realized, well, maybe this actually could be a career choice as well. So while I was still doing my grad program for counseling, I was actually writing a paper about engaging students about sustainability. And so I literally just went to the CSUN homepage, typed in sustainability, and a professor's name came up. And this was, back in 2008. And he was an urban studies professor, and he had worked with our current provost to write this manifesto about sustainability at CSUN. And he invited me to join this committee called the Green Core Team. And it was pretty intimidating. It was all faculty and employees. I was the only student member on this committee, but I served for a year, and I was actually that's when the Institute for Sustainability was being formed, which was right when I was graduating. And so I was on the advisory board. I helped with it when the charter was being formed, just kind of got in. It was just really good timing, honestly, and networking. So, finding out who to talk to, getting to know and make those connections. And then when the Institute was formed in 2009, which is right when I was graduating, they had a part-time admin position. So I'm like, well, I might as well apply. And I got the job. And, 12 years later, I'm still there. And that job has obviously evolved into a much bigger role at the Institute now. I oversee all of our programs and projects with our faculty director, now a program analyst. And yet, 12 years later, here I am, hosting these types of events. So I just want to show, I started out like, oh, I'm going to be, in psychology. I want to be an academic advisor. And while in my college experience, that totally shifted. And I think that the panelists today will share that similar path. It wasn't, I don't want you to feel as a student that when you start college, you need to know what you want to do and that you need to stick with that path. It can absolutely shift and change. And, you learn as you take classes, as you meet people, as you join clubs, all of those experiential learning experiences can help shape the path that you go in. So, so without any further ado, I would like to introduce our speakers. I'm just going to say their names, their degrees, and then their current positions. And then I'll hand it over to Patricia and she'll open it up to the first question. So let's see, I'm going to go alphabetical, I think, which is how my Zoom looks for me, is George Kopf. He is the field manager for ClearRESULT, which is an energy efficiency company in Ventura County. And he received his bachelor's degree from CSUN in recreation management. Next, we have Tiffany Towne, who is the account development and sustainability ambassador for Humanscale, which many students you may know, or those that work in offices. Humanscale is like the #1 office furniture company. The chair I'm sitting in is actually Humanscale right now. She has a degree from CSUN as well, a bachelor's in communication and media studies. Next, we have Nelson Ventress. Nelson is also a alumni from Recreation and Tourism here at CSUN, and he is the sustainability specialist at SoFi Stadium. And if you're not familiar, SoFi is the beautiful new stadium in LA. Hopefully you all have a chance to visit it. Yes, so in his Zoom background, you can see it there. And then last but not least, we have Claudia Villalta, and she is the Sustainability and Medical Services Specialist for Sony. And so she, like me, shares the same alma mater of Cal State Long Beach. She has a bachelor's in film and electronic arts, so definitely not something you would necessarily, think of, doesn't scream sustainability. And she also has a minor in environmental science and policy. And so we, welcome these four panelists. We're really grateful to have you. And I will turn it over to Patricia to open it up to the panelists. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm exhausted from everybody's background. Sarah used a word a little bit ago, which is what a lot of this is about, and it's passion. And we're going to learn more and more. Does it take passion? Is passion part of your selection of where you go, what road you take, and what field you choose? So we're going to start with, if each panelist could briefly, Sarah already gave a bit of an introduction of you. So if you could just give us a quick intro and tell us a bit more about your position, your title at this present time. And can you also give us your definition of sustainability? That's one of those words that's out there and everyone says, oh, I want to go into, but do we really have a full understanding? And I'm sure every one of you has something different to add to the definition. So I'm going to start, we'll go backwards this time and we'll start with Claudia.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. So like Sarah mentioned, I work at Sony Pictures. So we produce a lot of your favorite movies and TV shows. And what I do on the entertainment side is help all of our productions reduce their carbon emissions and their overall environmental impact. We have lots of programs that we take them through to do that. I also am the zero waste lead on our physical lot. We have a 45-acre studio lot in Culver City, and I help manage all of our zero waste efforts. And then my definition of sustainability, I mean, I just like to keep things simple, and I think it's really, creating the least amount of environmental damage in any and all behaviors, whether, you're a business and it's in your operations, or it's you're a human and it's in your own day-to-day personal activities. So that's what I think sustainability is. Thanks again for having me. That's great.
Claudia, no one would think of Sony or a lot having this kind of position. Did you go there for that position, or were you on the, were you part of their personnel and you heard about?
No, this was my first job out of college. I started out as a trainee, and then I got promoted to full-time permanent. So yeah, I came here for this. I studied film, so I knew I wanted to work at a film company. So yeah. That shows that transferable and everything else overlaps each other. Thank you very much. Nelson. Uh-oh, you're on mute.
Can't hear you, Nelson.
You're on mute, Nelson. Can we help him out? What's going on? Oh dear.
Maybe let's go to George while Nelson.
Let's go to George, and then Nelson, let us know when you might have to go back in or something. George, you want to
sure.
Take over?
Make sure everybody can hear me. So
yes,
we hear you and we see your background.
Excellent. So my name is George Kopf. My current title is field manager. I work for ClearRESULT. We're the largest energy solutions provider in North America. The prime product that we offer is we design and implement efficiency rebate programs for utilities around the United States and Canada. And I came here from a recreation background. I started off as a YMCA camp director right out of Cal State Northridge, and then saw an inconvenient truth. Somebody else mentioned some documentaries. So there you go. Started doing some research, realized, there's some options and opportunities here. And so, yeah, kind of used my recreation background in program management, program design to transition into sustainability. I started at a nonprofit in Berkeley, was there for just over 5 years, and then moved down here to Southern California and started working for ClearRESULT. And yeah, you know, as far as what I do day to day, it depends on the day. It's kind of one of the things I like about my job is sometimes I'm working with companies that work in the supply chain, so manufacturers who make things like air conditioners or heat pumps, distributors, the companies that sell those products to the contractors who install them. I work with a lot of different stakeholders in the rebate, efficiency rebate process, really is what it comes down to. Bottom line, my job is solving problems, understanding what we do, how the programs work, what the rules are, and then helping our stakeholders make the most out of the programs so that we transform the market. And you know, that takes on a lot of different faces every day because it's never the same thing every day. As far as what sustainability means for me, bottom line, keeping the planet inhabitable by the human species. You know, whatever that looks like, if it's reducing carbon emissions through increased efficiency, if it's using alternative fuel sources. I mean, all of it comes down to we're continuing to do a lot of damage. So let's stop that and do other things. So yeah.
Great. Thank you. George actually proves the fact that I've been reading to be true, that they have found right now that the majority of people that go into this field at this time, as it expands, are coming out of science, management, which can be anyone from anywhere, tourism, leisure, and recreation. Interesting. That was the one that kind of stopped me, engineering and law. Thank you, George. It's interesting. How are we doing, Nelson? Were we able to get your sound?
Can everybody hear me now?
We hear you now.
All right.
You.
All right. It was my headphones. Apologies. I'm sorry about that.
This is supposed to improve every day and make work less on us, right? And we're all stressing. Thank you for being so patient. We're ready to hear you.
No worries. Yes, I'm the sustainability specialist here at SoFi Stadium and the overall Hollywood Park property, which is 298 acres that sit within Inglewood, California. I currently keep track of all of our sustainability platforms, which is tracking our potable water versus reclaimed water, tracking our energy, doing what Claudia does on the zero waste side after events, creating a recycling program for our office waste. And then also working with our community engagement programs to create educational programs regarding waste recycling, energy efficiency with all of the community members within Inglewood, California, and the surrounding schools. For me, I feel like my definition of sustainability is not just making sure that our environmental footprint is lower, but also enriching those surrounding us so then they can also reap the benefits for the future. Specifically regarding that community piece, being here in Inglewood, knowing the impact that we have within this community, where we are a part of the gentrification of the area, but really trying to enrich the lives of those that currently live here, giving them the opportunity to work for the stadium, boost the businesses that are surrounding here, and really trying to make sure that they maintain residency in the city.
Great, thank you. Well, so we can all hear and see it already that this is huge. This is a huge area to get into. It isn't the future, it's now, so that we have a future. Really important. Thank you, Nelson. Tiffany, you're on mute, so we there.
I'm off mute, hopefully now.
You're off of mute and standing under the bridge.
I am. So hello, everybody. Hello, CSUN. I'm Tiffany. I'm with Humanscale. I'm their account development rep here in Los Angeles, as well as up in the Central Coast. And then I also am the sustainability ambassador for Southern California. And it's a big it's a big job, but it's a good job. So really what I'm focused on is educating folks about Humanscale, and Humanscale is the leading manufacturer and designer of ergonomic tools. So what does that mean? So ergonomic tools are just they're solutions created to help you work more comfortably. We're really focused on health and wellness, and specifically sustainability. So we are the only manufacturer currently in our industry who holds the highest credentials when it comes to sustainability and manufacturing to create a positive impact on our environment. You hear a lot about net zero, but what we're doing right now is creating a positive impact. And what that means is that most of our portfolio, over half of our product portfolio, is water, climate, and energy positive. So it's really important to focus on sustainability. It's something that I've been passionate about for a really long time. So I have a lot of passion behind this. And it was really natural to get into this industry because I love design, but I wanted to work for a designer manufacturer that wasn't doing harm, but good. Because when we think about manufacturing, there's a lot of harm that goes into manufacturing. So we want to focus on doing well and changing that perception of when you manufacture. So that's what I do on a daily basis, just educate people and let them know that you can have a great career in sustainability too. And I mean, I'm in sales, so I get to talk to people for a living, and it's really exciting. And sustainability to me is just reducing our footprint. We measure in hand printing. So you hear a lot about footprints, but we want to measure handprints because that's what gives back to our environment. So that's what I do, and I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. Humanscale is a great example of a company that they are the granddaddies of ergonomic products, and they swayed into the sustainability field and all, and leading in that area. Do you think it's going to be the way with much industry, that they're going to see that importance and more opportunity also for employment in those areas going ahead?
Yeah. I mean, we've been on the leading edge of this, and we thought other manufacturers are going to catch up. They are starting to, but it's starting to become more and more important. And so there's clear pathways for careers within sustainability right now. And we have a lot, so it's exciting times for sure.
Tiffany, I wanted to ask you as well, was your position created and you applied for it, or did you become a sustainability ambassador after you started at Humanscale?
Yeah, so I had to start, working at Humanscale. I had to kind of cut my teeth, and then I was given an opportunity. I was tapped on the shoulder to join this program. So I'm still learning, but there is a group of us who, in addition to our sales roles and, educating customers just about ergonomics and the products, we also have this other role, which is our sustainability ambassadorship program. So I'm involved in that.
Great, thank you. Okay, some of you touched upon this a bit. Can you tell us, as part of your career journey, can you give an account of your educational background, and did you choose this major, or did it not happen till you got out, or do you have a story a little similar to George where you kind of went one way and suddenly, we know that Claudia was in film, George was in recreation. Anything else that anyone wants to add along that way, or how their education helped them? Anybody?
I mean, I can jump in. So I'm a communication studies major and media studies, and I actually started working for the largest transportation company in the world, Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Maybe some of you are familiar. And so I completely switched gears, but it was really natural. So although I didn't go, my degree wasn't in sustainability, it's always been a passion. So I ended up switching gears completely. But I wanted to work for a company that was really focused on creating good out there in the world. And, you know, particularly I love design. So I wanted to work for a brand that was doing good for the environment. So it was really important. So Enterprise was great. They really wanted to cut down on their emissions, and net zero was really important to them. But then I wanted to really work for a company who really was on the forefront of this stuff. So
Great.
it just happened organically, naturally.
Thank you, Tiffany. Anyone else, while they were in school, realized that they really wanted to get into this area and knew it before they finished their schooling, either changed what they were studying, or knew that they wanted to direct themselves that way. Perhaps you had a hobby or volunteer work or something that really influenced you.
Yeah, I have a story. When Sarah was telling hers, I was like, oh my gosh, that happened to me too. But I started at Cal State Long Beach thinking I was going to graduate and become a production designer. So the person that designs the sets and helps decorate for films and TV. And I did that for about 2 or 3 years in college, helping my friends with their student films, being their production designer. And I liked it, but I didn't feel passionate about it. I wasn't in love with it. So I had like a real pivotal moment around my 3rd year, realizing that career path wasn't for me. And I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I don't want to throw away, you know, my film degree, my bachelor's that I've been working so hard to get. I want to stay in film, but I need something else. And then I did what Sarah did and looked up. I literally typed in sustainability in film, because environmentalism and sustainability is something I've loved and been passionate about since I was younger. So I was like, is this a thing? And I thought, you know, I didn't know it was, but I was pleasantly surprised to see every single studio, Paramount, you know, Sony, Warner Brothers, Netflix, like all of them had at least one sustainability position, you know, with an established sustainability program. I had no idea. And, you know, still I meet people who don't know that. So I was like, okay, hit the jackpot. And then that's the year I added my environmental science and policy minor. I thought I was going to be smooth sailing my senior year, only taking 2 classes, but adding the minor brought me back up to taking like 6 classes per semester. So it took more work, but it worked out in the end. So.
And you know what? You'll probably go back and take more classes.
Yeah,
exactly. For someone that really wants to stay on top of things and have that curiosity. Thank you, Claudia. On that note, it does appear that college programs are popping up even on our campus more and more. And you all come from a mixed bag of backgrounds. Do you think that this will still be something that people can come out of any major, or do you see that related degrees and being in sciences are going to be more that they're looking for? Anyone?
I'll jump on that one. I think that's a good question. On the one hand, you know, the work that I do, it definitely helps me. I've been doing this for almost 14 years now. So I've read a lot about my industry. I've participated in a lot of conferences and had a lot of conversations with other folks, worked on a lot of contracts, and that kind of industry knowledge it's important. I mean, it's how you do it, you know, every day. So on that one hand, yeah, I think it's really important, like what Claudia was saying, how she got that minor in environmental policy, right? I mean, that kind of just, even if it's just a few classes, I think that's really important. All of that said, though, you know, there are a lot of people that I work with that work for ClearRESULT that don't directly need environmental background, like our marketing team. You know, they are a top-notch, world-class marketing team delivering. I mean, look at these graphics behind me. This is them, right? So it's
very
like
important. Very
absolutely,
important.
but they're not like, you know, if I went into the latest Public Utilities Commission proposed decision on incentive layering, their eyes are going to glaze over. They have no idea what I'm talking about because they don't need to know. But my point is, whatever you're doing, chances are pretty good there's a company out there doing sustainability work that's going to need your skill set.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great point. Thank you. And that's what this is about. Yeah, I mean, we have people in marketing, public relations, and then they say, what do I do? Well, help save the world with this skill. You don't have to be a scientist. And would you all say that if you have the passion and all, you're reading and you're learning all the time, joining things, so that can always give you that step up as well if you haven't taken the classes. On that note, I know that several of you did internships. Can you share that with us?
I want to add quickly what George said with the previous question. Our sustainability team is really small, but we're very popular in Sony. A lot of the like procurement and finance that have, not really a lot to do with sustainability, they want to get in with us. So even though they don't have that background, they're learning about it through us and helping support and vice versa. But to answer the next question, I had a internship. I was a student assistant at the Office of Sustainability on campus at Cal State Long Beach. I was there for over a year, and I helped with a lot of the zero waste program there, which is helping me a ton at Sony now. So super rewarding. I would definitely recommend you to get involved with any sustainability organizations on your campus, because everyone says that like internships and jobs when you're in school, those are the times where you can, not, make like mistakes, but kind of like explore and get to know what office culture is like, and, prepare you with all the hard and soft skills of a real job, and just the content of it, learning about specifics on sustainability, what big campuses like yours is doing and where it's going and that kind of thing.
Thank you, Claudia.
Patricia, let me just add to that. I just wanted to say for students out there that the Institute is a great place for you to get started. So feel free to reach out to me. We are also a designated service learning site. So if you have any courses that require service learning hours, you can do those hours directly with the Institute. And like Claudia mentioned, that's all hands-on learning experience. It's great for building your resume. And it's not as high stakes, right? If you make mistakes, we're here to teach you. Like that's what it's all about for us. And move our projects forward, but also help you be prepared for the workforce once you graduate from CSUN. And we also have paid positions too. So, be on the lookout for those. We post them. I'll put a link in the chat to our website where you can look, but there's other departments on campus as well. AS Sustainability is a huge department that's hiring students. They have a lot of students that do work related to sustainability. Hopefully we'll do more of these events with the Career Center in the future. But yeah, I just wanted to reiterate that, no matter what your major is, you can really connect this to any field. So don't feel like just because you're not in, the STEM fields or something that seems, traditionally more related to science, that this doesn't fit into your academic program.
Thank you, Sarah. I was going to say that Sarah's here representing one of the best programs, probably universities. So we've got it here, everybody. You don't even have to look somewhere else. Also, as far as what Claudia had said, internships, mistakes are allowable as long as it's not costing someone a lot of money. Right? That's one of the reasons you get an internship. That's where you make the mistakes, you ask the questions, but you also want to show that you have something to give as well. Thank you both. It's also volunteer work. I would assume all of this adds up and can only help in as far as learning and being more employable in the area. So we know that's usually true. Just want to make sure did any of you have some kind of well, you had the internships, but we're also wondering that, I'm sorry, I've got two lists of questions here. The aspect of your education that helped you the most, as far as if you were in a different major, did you take like a management class or something that you found that either piqued your interest in this area, or that was your in to get into the into industry? Again, that transferable skill, which I know we have many out there in the audience thinking about. So I know with all your different kinds of majors that you had, was there maybe one particular class that you found really was what helped with that critical thinking and such that's needed? If everybody's thinking.
I took one class that was we designed and put together a weekend like summer camp type experience for individuals with special needs. You know, that was probably one of the most important as far as my education. Just the planning, the preparation, the design of the program, the implementation of the program, reporting, measurement, verification, all that. That is exactly what I do on a day-to-day basis.
Interesting. Yeah. Now the planet has special needs. Thank you. It goes to show you, when you say all I did was sell socks at Macy's, think about it. You did a lot of other things that can always apply. Anyone else want to add to that? Okay, thank you. That was.
I would love to.
Yeah.
I actually, when I took my major courses, I took a class in, oddly enough, scheduling events and conferences. And now that I'm in this industry and we do conferences and events on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, really learning about all of the planning that goes into creating an event and creating a meeting where a bunch of minds come together and can have different experiences. And now seeing it from a sustainability point of view and seeing how the same planning could go into what happens when that event is over. Where does all of the, if it's a conference, where do all of the staging go? Where do the giveaways go? How do you give certain products to those guests? Are those products made of sustainable sources? Are you using a lot of plastic? Are you using a lot of biodegradable products? Like, those are the sorts of things that helps me in my job today from what I learned when I was in school.
Great, thank you. Before I go on, anyone want to add anything? Okay, now Nelson, I know that you have time that you have to leave, so I'm going to start with you if you have something to say here. How can someone find out about currently available entry-level jobs in your profession? Are there professional associations, publications, anything that's directed towards the student and also keeps them in the know as far as what's the trends?
Absolutely. Just to let everybody here know, I know I haven't talked much during this panel. This is my first sustainability job ever. I've worked in sports management my entire career, and I got interested in it at a previous job at the LA Memorial Coliseum. Applied those skills to coming back to Cal State Northridge. I worked in the athletics department, talked to the sustainability center, tried to get waste bins into all of our athletic facilities to at least have a recycling option, and then coming here and completely developing a program from the ground up. So just giving you a little brief background into what I've done in my career. And for students, I would highly recommend looking up the Green Sports Alliance. It's a great community of venues, organizations, athletes, sports teams, all coming together and sharing their best practices in sustainability. And they
Nelson,
have students.
Did you say the Green Source Alliance?
Sports, S-P-O-R-T-S.
Sports, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. So that we want to make sure they catch that. Thank you. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, no worries. Green Sports Alliance, they do have opportunities for students as well. I am an open book, so if you find me on LinkedIn or if you have my email address, please feel free to forward to me and I will introduce you to them. They are amazing and incredible. We are members of the Alliance ourselves at SoFi Stadium, and it's a great resource. If you're interested in getting into sports, I believe sustainability is one of the fastest growing trends in sports today. So there will be opportunities coming up in the future for sustainability minded jobs within the sports industry.
Thank you. Andrea, could you please put that in chat so that the students can catch that? That's very generous, Nelson. Thank you very much. Anyone else want to mention organizations, publications? What's going to make it easier for the students to access information they need?
I have something. So for those out there, who are very passionate about sustainability and design and manufacturing. You should be part of the USGBC. So it's the Green Building Council. They're focused specifically on green building. So there's chapters in Los Angeles as well as Ventura and the Central Coast. So depending on where you live or where you're planning on living, there's plenty of opportunity there. They have mentorships programs too. So I encourage you to check that website out and become a mentee or just join. And they do post jobs and internships. So it's a great site to look at. So I encourage you to do that.
It's a great site. In fact, they just sent something out. I think they even have internships for them. So that's a wonderful organization for them to follow. Thank you. Anyone else? Any kinds of organizations that have mixers or things that keep them up on the trends, or even a good site that you know on site for them to go on? Anybody?
I have two. So one, if you want to get into more of the entertainment space, the Youth Entertainment Activists, they have a website and I'll paste their name in there, and a newsletter. They always have job postings at the bottom of their newsletter, but they have like mixers and stuff like that. And then also the Green Production Guide, that is a one-stop shop for anything sustainability and media related. And all of the studios who are partners for that, their logos are all listed there. So that means, you see Apple, Amazon, Netflix, everyone, that means they have a sustainability department, and you should be going on to their sites and looking for traineeships or internships.
That's terrific.
Both, yeah.
Thank you. One more question, and then we're going to go to the Q&A. Has any of you become aware that since the time that you graduated and entered the profession, are you noticing more specializations, coursework, certifications that you believe are at the early stage and students should consider pursuing as a means of enhancing, their talents, and when they're ready to go, they'll be certainly more desirable for those hiring in the field? Like Humanscale with their production and all that, we know new things are happening. Also, after the conference last week, of course, in Glasgow, what do you think is going to come out of that? Certainly new areas. That was a long one. That meant anyone answer what you want to. And Sarah, you certainly can join in. I see your smile.
I've got something to add. So this is probably after graduation, but becoming LEED AP certified as well as WELL AP. Currently, I'm studying to be WELL AP. So AP is accredited professional. So that's something to consider when you are considering a career in sustainability. It's a certification that gives you, it's like a bachelor's. I mean, you've earned it, you've studied, there's credibility behind it. So that's really important.
So there are different aspects of LEED. It's not just in architecture and design. There's also
I think,
to it.
Yeah, I think it's mainly for architect and design.
It started it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know about other aspects of it, but I can only speak on like my behalf because I'm in that industry, but there might be other industries.
Great advice. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely within the sports world as well. There's operations and maintenance. You can become a LEED AP in that as well. And that really helps us out from a facility management point of view as well, to have that certification.
Oh, great field. Right.
Yeah. To Tiffany's point as well, LEED, WELL. Also, we are in the process of being ISO 20121 certified. So if, sorry, I share an office. So if you hear doors opening, you probably hear that in the background. But understanding ISO certification and understanding the third-party auditing process helps out a lot. If you want to become an auditor for sustainable best practices and sustainable certification practices, that is also another way to lead into the sustainability realm.
Great information. Thank you.
Trisha, let me just add one thing too, is the
Sure.
human aspect of sustainability. So another part of, that culture of sustainability is whatever job that you're in is educating the employees, and like well-being and work-life balance is a huge part of sustainability. That's something we're trying to incorporate more at CSUN as well, by working with the Oasis Center, and like we have a garden, and trying to get people out in nature. It's nice to be able to have these conversations, but we also like to get people outside and get outdoors, and like get people to touch the dirt that we're trying to protect, and learn about the species that we're protecting. And so even in your office, like adding plants to your office, anything that you can do to help occupant well-being when you're inside the office is really important too. So it's not just about zero waste and energy efficiency, which is all part of it, but also I don't want to minimize the importance of the individual aspect of sustainability, and like well-being and work-life balance is a huge part of it too.
Thank you. That's important. That is one of the, I think they call them pillars of sustainability, is the human side of it. This has just been wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Now, we didn't touch on government side of this at all, and we're hoping in the spring that we will get more into that area. So you'll know that this is everywhere and all around you. And we thank these wonderful panelists. Nelson, I know if you have to get going, but we are going to open this up to Q&A. And Andrea, if you can share our questions with us, we'd appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. Yes, of course.
I need you to speak up.
Hi, everyone. Yes, of course. So the first question is, are there any certification skill sets that are popular in sustainability, specifically for STEM roles or jobs that can supplement moving up in the field?
I think we pretty much touched upon that. Is there anything else someone would like to add to that before we go on?
I'll add one to the chat. Just something to throw into the mix here is, don't think that because you don't have certifications, you can't get a job in the field. So, hi, Nelson. I think one of, just a quick story. When I started at that nonprofit in Berkeley, I had no training in anything energy related or sustainability related, but I was curious, and I was willing to take on projects, and I was willing to, they came to me and said, would you be interested in doing this? And I said, sure. And they paid for me to go through training and get a certification in as a Building Performance Institute certified professional building analyst, which sounds really fancy. That's a professional certification. It was not easy to get. I did not have a lot of the background that a lot of my fellow students going through that class. It was more aimed at contractors, which I didn't have that background. But I was willing to go through the classes, and I was willing to, be curious and explore it. And I'm glad I did, because the other part of this I want to mention is, as far as, there's lots of great job boards and green drinks. You can Google green drinks. There's probably one happening in your area, but just general networking. That's why I'm here at this job, is because of a contact I had made when I was living in the Bay Area. And then I moved down to SoCal, and he needed someone who had my skill set. And so he called me up. Hey, would you be interested in a job? I said, great. And that was for a small company, like around 50 employees, and they were based out in Boulder, Colorado. I was with them for 6 months, and we got acquired by ClearRESULT. So I didn't actually apply to ClearRESULT. I got acquired through kind of a friend kind of thing. But my point being is that, a lot of this it's in a state of flux, and things are happening right now. And don't think that, oh, I don't have that on my resume, I shouldn't apply. Apply for the job, trust me. Because even if you don't get that job, a lot of times employers are looking for people, and if you don't fit the bill great for that position, hey, we have this other position we haven't even posted yet. That kind of stuff happens all the time. And look, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 people that you now know. If you're a student sitting there going, I don't know anyone in sustainability, guess what? You do now. email us, reach out to us through LinkedIn. You know, I love it when, you know, someone reaches out to me and says, hey, can I pick your brain, take you out for coffee, or even just a phone call? Great, awesome. I'm happy to help. Reach out to us. Don't be shy.
That's great information. And that actually applies to any field, really. I went on a job interview. It was above my head, but he had a friend that started a new business. That was my first great job. You've got to put yourself out there, and you have to be fearless, no matter what field you're going into. Sarah, you had something you want to say?
I would just add, utilize your professors and all the CSUN faculty as well. I mean, all of your professors are part of these professional organizations. They're alumni from universities. They have connections to the job, you know, especially lecturers on campus. Most of them have full-time jobs in the field. So reach out and use them. That's, you know, how many folks get those connections made is, you know, through faculty. So definitely utilize that resource as well.
That's how I got my job.
Uh-huh.
I would just
That
recommend.
word networking, everyone's afraid of. Thank you, all of you. Claudia, yes.
I was just going to say, to advice to the students is like, tell everyone about the job that you want or whatever you're studying. Talk to everyone,
Exactly.
your postal service person, the cashier, your student, your everyone. That's how I got my job. My former supervisor knew someone who worked at Sony in sustainability. So that's how I got to know more about, you know, the position, and then I applied, and it was great. So talk to everyone about what you want to do, and someone will, you know.
And it also helps you when you're on the job, right? I mean, to put on a panel, Sarah knew all of you and knew how to put on the panel.
Yeah.
You just don't know what, once you're out there, I don't know how to do this. You have someone out there. Networking is the bottom line to everything. Thank you. That's a wonderful advice. Anyone want to add anything else? That leaves you, Tiffany.
Oh,
You're it. Do you have anything to add?
yeah, I mean, I actually saw a question here from Neil. I don't know if he's still on, but
No, Neil had to leave. Thank you.
oh, okay. He was asking about, you know, how did I research companies that were like focused on environmentalism, like when I was applying. Honestly, just to everyone's point, you know, networking, LinkedIn. I mean, I was fearless when trying to get into this career, to be honest. I was already in sales, so I knew I wanted to focus on sales, but I wanted to, you know, move into design and sustainable design. So honestly, just Googling, looking up LinkedIn, different companies, like just buzzwords like, you know, sustainable design or sustainable manufacturer, but you have to be fearless. I mean, I would reach out to people asking if I'd get an opportunity to interview, if I'd see a job, you know, online that was open. I would just research and find, you know, who was the hiring manager or somebody that I can connect with. So that's the way I did it. And then I like networking too. So that's a lot of my job now is networking. But yeah, that's just my little tidbit.
Great advice. Thank you. Yeah. Would you say that this field is still new and open enough that someone could actually go to a company and almost create their own position?
Yes.
Head shakes.
1,000%.
Yes, everybody watch
Absolutely.
these. That's great. Next question. Do we have one, Andrea?
Hi everyone, again, thank you for sharing. So most of the questions, I was going to ask the one that Tiffany just answered, but most of the questions are having to do with, I am currently in a major that relates nothing to sustainability. You know, will I be able to get a job in sustainability or get into any programs with sustainability? So most of the questions are regarding that.
Okay, thank you, Andrea. Well, if you've all been really paying attention, that's been the bottom line of this entire afternoon. And our wonderful panelists have certainly been addressing that question. Anything, any last wonderful words of wisdom that you have to add, anyone?
I have a couple of thoughts. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, George.
Yeah, just a couple of things. Yeah, this is still very much very wide open right now. And it's not quite the Wild West that it was 13, 14 years ago when I first came in, but it is still very much in a state of flux. Things are moving, and there's a lot of money coming into this field, not just federal and state incentives, but keep in mind that when industry sees policy, you have a lot of money on the sidelines, private investment that is going in this direction. The energy transition is a once in a generation wealth creation opportunity. If you don't know where to start, here's what I would recommend. Go to your Apple Podcasts, type in energy, climate, sustainability. I mean, email me. I have about a dozen podcasts that I listen to on a regular basis just to keep up with what's going on in my industry. Go to Twitter, go #energy Twitter. There's tons of information out there. There's lots of news outlets. Clean Tech, Canary Media is a new one that just came out. Point being is that, look, there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of deals that are just now getting struck. A lot of companies are growing. They're looking for people. So if you're in civil engineering and you think, how do I get into sustainability? Trust me, there are companies out there who are looking for, polite, responsible, organized professionals who are going to show up every day and work their butts off to solve problems. And that's the other thing is a lot of this is a new industry. So don't think that you're going to go in and there's like a track that you follow. Claudia, I mean, you're going to make this up as you go along. I mean, I started off in recreation therapy. I was going to be a therapist, and then I transitioned to recreation management, and then I was doing green jobs training. How did that happen? And then I'm doing, whatever. I would say remain curious, remain open, like pay attention to the big picture, what's happening around you. Things are changing very quickly, but hey, you got people that now on the inside. Reach out to us. We're a resource.
Thank you. Do you feel that now that we're hoping we're almost post-pandemic, will that have an effect on things? Will a lot more be opening up, or do you think this is right now at a constant that it's just moving?
I think it's moving. I don't think the pandemic really affected us that much.
So if you're looking now, it'll be, it's something that's going to still be happening. Great. Thank you. Anyone else? We're just getting ready to wrap up. Any last questions, Andrea, that we need to address?
For a few of the questions that were submitted for the Q&A, I would just challenge those attendees, the students who said, my major has nothing to do with sustainability, or I'm not good at math, or I'm doing history. Google your discipline, your major, and sustainability, and see what comes up. Like, there's probably a professional organization. There's probably something already happening. There honestly, and go to the Career Center. I mean, Patricia can talk more, but you can, do a lot of assessments to find out what your strengths are and tie that back into sustainability. Someone mentioned they're not strong in math. I mean, I don't do math on a daily basis for my job. You definitely don't need to know math or be, technical in any way to do sustainability. So, there's a lot of different assessments you can do out there to find out what your strengths are if you don't know, and then tie that into your profession. And don't feel too that just your first job out of college, or even when you're in college, that's not what you're going to do forever. I mean, my job, like I said, I applied to a part-time temporary administrative position. That definitely, when you're graduating with a master's degree, it's a little bit deflating to go into, I have this, I was in college for 6 years and then I'm applying for this part-time admin position, but it's a stepping stone to the future. So just kind of keep that bigger goal in mind and realize that it's a journey. You don't have to, day one out of college, go into your dream career.
And then they're all going to ascend on Sarah.
My inbox is filling up now.
I just wanted to add just
Sure.
something. So I noticed Catherine had sent a question in about what experience or credibility are employers looking for into a sustainability career. Passion. It is, you have to be passionate about it. That's what they're looking for. And like, to your point, Sarah, that question about math, I'm the worst in math. Like, it's awful. So yeah, I don't do math. A little bit, just because I'm in sales, so I got to calculate some stuff, but just a little. But yeah, just passion. That is the biggest. If you can show you're passionate about our environment, about people, wellness, doing what's right for the good of the planet, you are going to excel and in a sustainable career, in a sustainability career is what I mean. So yeah.
Great, thank you. Okay, anyone else before we wrap it up?
Really quick, if your first job out of college isn't your dream sustainability position, do what you can to make it green. Talk to your manager. Can we change this? Can we try this? And and then if your first job is in sustainability, but you don't feel like you're good at math, people keep saying, I'm definitely not good at math. I'm in year 2 of my job in this position and I'm still learning every day. Any job you have, you're going to keep learning. So yeah.
You should be, we hope, if you're saying right.
Yeah.
Thank you, panelists. This has been wonderful. George, you had one last thing you wanted to add?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I thought I saw you were like yours. This has just been wonderful. If I was only younger, I'd be going this route. I think it's amazing. I think that it's something it's not to laugh about. This is huge, and we have to be doing something now. That's for sure. We're late in the game. We've got to get this going. Sarah, as the lead moderator, something you want to add?
I just want to thank our panelists again for their time. Thank the students for attending. You're in the right place. A lot of people asked, what can I do? This was the first step. You can attend events like this. You're
Exactly.
doing exactly what you need to do. Don't think of it as some huge leap you need to do. So just keep doing things like this. Feel free, reach out. We've all offered our time and contact information. So you use the resources that are available to you, and we hope to see you in the future.
And when people like George and Nelson say, oh, now you know me, write a little note. I went to this today. I found it fascinating. I want to start that conversation going. Not everyone's going to say, oh, you've got me as a contact. So take advantage. Thank you, everybody. This has just been wonderful. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.